I'm going to give this a test here. We've got the new adapter just plugged into the ATX power supply up here. It's connected to the NeXT backplane over here. And this set of wires up here are connected to an LED so that we'll be able to see the reset change happen when it's booted. And I also have a 3-volt battery right here that's wired up to the switch, and that is wired up to the soft power on. So flipping the switch will mimic pressing the power on keyboard on the NeXT keyboard. That sends the 3-volt signal through the backplane connector into here, and the AT-Tiny will detect that and automatically trigger the change in reset, hopefully. So let me hook up the battery and let's give this a shot. Also, it would help to plug in the power supply. You can see that the LED here begins to flash just to indicate that it's begun to boot and that the AT-Tiny program is active and running, and it will give a little heartbeat flash after that just to indicate that the AT-Tiny is powered and that this board is running. Alright, so let's see what happens. By flipping the switch, we can now see the other LED come on to indicate that the power is being given to the power supply, and you can hear the power supply run. And we also saw the LED flash up here indicating that reset is working correctly. So I'm going to do this a second time, but this time using the leads that are coming off of this connector. And this would be for running without the backplane. So I have the leads here plugged into the same places as over here, and we should see identical behavior using this instead of these, and that will indicate that this connector is correctly mimicking the behavior of the backplane. As I switch this off, power's off as well. So it's up and running. We're connected. Let's see. I give it power on, and we should see the LED there go on for just a second and then off, indicating that a reset signal is going to be given to the motherboard, which will cause it to boot. And we see it in fact go on and off. ATX power supply turns on, LED indicates that it's on, and everything looks like it's working. Okay, I have here a rather tenuous setup, but let me attempt to show and explain. On the side of this that is hidden by the logic board, we have the backplane down here, into which the main logic board is plugged with the power supply PCB adapter. And over here, get this out of the way, it's the ATX power supply. And we have the sound box here with the cable that connects the sound box up to, where is it? Here we go. Over here to the motherboard, to the logic board, into the sound box. I also have plugged a keyboard in case this actually works. And we have here a custom VGA adapter that I put in there. So let's see if this works. I have the monitor VGA connection, which I'm going to plug in there. And the monitor, in case this actually works, we'll be looking at is over here. So, alright. And now this logic board does have a battery in it. Not sure if that battery is any good. Let's find out. Let's plug in the ATX power supply and hope that there's no smoke. And there's no smoke. Everything appears to be okay here. And then the next question is, we push the power button here, what happens? absolutely nothing. Well, that's anti-dramatic. There we go. Holy cow. Let's see what's going on. Okay. So what I did here is I've got an extra battery. I'm holding on to the logic board battery. And as you can see, it is booting with a beautiful, clear, beautiful image on that LCD. And I don't have any drive hooked up because this is just, whoops, so much for that beautiful image. But maybe that's because we're flexing things. Okay, I've got the logic board installed in the Cube case and the power converter all the way at the back with the ATX power supply here, a SCSI to SD attached here, and because I don't have the battery, I've got the red and white leads here hooked up to my bench power supply on 3 volts to supply it. The sound box here is hooked up to the keyboard and mouse, and also to the monitor over here in case everything works. And I have a NeXT 3.3 image on the SD card, or SCSI to SD. So let's see if this boots. And turning on the bench power supply. And it's booting. Testing system. Loading from disk. Loading from network.